But if I suddenly was a multimillionaire, how fair is it that she has to spend a bunch of money on legal fees to... Hey there, Coach Devin here. So this is a video I've wanted to make for a bit, and I didn't know exactly how I was going to make it because I don't want to come off like I'm complaining, and I also don't want to come off like I am some deadbeat. So it's an interesting one. We're going to talk a little bit about family court. You know, I've been through the family court system. If you've been through the family court system and, you know, you've had an experience, write it up down below. I'd like to hear what your experience is. Here's some quick thoughts on the family court system, which I think, quite frankly, has some issues. It's got some problems, and I don't know. I can't tell you how to fix it necessarily. I wish I knew how to fix it, but what I can do is I can tell you the issues that I see with the family court system since I've been in it, and I've been in it for that system now for 10 years. And within that, you know, there's some definite problems that I see that I don't think work for anybody. They don't work for the kids. They don't work for the parents. They don't work for anybody. But unfortunately, they're still there, and I don't know the reasoning behind it. But I'm gonna highlight a couple of them. As I don't know if anybody knows, or some of you maybe know, I've been divorced for a bit. It's been almost 10 years now for me. So I've been in and out of the family court system a bunch of times. I'm going through my third now. Kick at the can with the family court system, and my issues on it. I can remember the first time going in to family court and the judge telling me I should move, I should sell the house, and I should move, and I was, you know, insulted and pissed off. I was like, who are you to tell me to move? He was probably right. You know, at the time, I wanted to do, you know, have the matrimonial home and all that stuff, and in reality, I didn't need to do those things. So it is interesting, you know, there's lots of times judges are right. And I want to be clear about that right off the gun, that judges are often right. And, you know, a lot of times emotion will cloud, or stupid thinking, it was more stupid thinking on my part, will cloud your judgment, and you get something in your head and you want to go do it, right? Rather than doing what is probably best. My issues around the family court system that I find frustrating are, number one, someone can use the family court system as a bludgeon against you to make your life miserable. And I'm not saying my ex-wife necessarily does this, but somebody can basically say, okay, it's going to cost you so much money in legal fees to fight something that you know you're going to win. So say I'm in a family court issue with somebody, and you know what, I can save, or whatever, you know, I'm overpaying, say, by $250 a month, but it's going to cost me $15,000 or so to go to court to fight it. Well, it's easier to give the money to your ex, right? And cheaper probably in the long run than it is to save that $250 a month. That's a problem, because what it does is it allows people in the who can think that through to go, okay, I can make you give me more money because it's more, even if I lose, you're going to spend more fighting this than you are to pay me, so give me some cash. To me, that's extorting people of money, and that's a problem, right? But the family court system is set up in such a way that's doable. People do it and can do it, and I think that's bad. It's a bad precedent. It's a bad situation. I don't know how to fix that. You know, if I knew how to fix it and I had all the answers in the world, I definitely would say, you know, whatever the answers I think are, I'd pitch them out there. But, you know, I think that is a problem. So the family court system can be used as a bludgeon against people to force them to give more money up, or give things up because it's so expensive with lawyers. And the second part of it also wraps around the whole lawyer thing. To get a change to family court order is, again, intensely expensive. It is really expensive to hire a lawyer and go through this court battle. So, you know, at the end, like, for example, and this is where, to me, that there's a significant problem. Where I live in Nova Scotia, you know, they say that you will pay child support ongoing. Judges don't like to say child support until, you know, age of majority, which is 19 here, or 18 years old, or whatever. They don't want to put an end date on it. They want it to be, like, let it run. See how far it goes, and if you want to make a change, come back to court. Well, shit, to come back to court, it's going to cost you, I don't know, $8,000-$10,000, and sometimes it's easier not to do that. So that's one side of it. The other side of it is, say my kid gets to 19 years old and is no longer living with my ex. That ex will still get money until I pay a ton of money legally to stop them. That to me doesn't seem right. You know what I mean? That just seems like, to me, a bad precedent. It's a bad idea. And I don't understand why it is. And maybe there's a reason. If you know what the reason is, write it up down below. I'd love to know it. But why is it that we don't want to put term limits or age appropriate limits on child support? Why is child support just freewheeling, ongoing forever? I don't know. I'm surprised. Other places don't do this, but where I live does do it, and it's, to me, confusing, because what it's doing is it means you have to go back to court and fight again. And, obviously the person who's getting the child support isn't going to say, okay, just stop it, that's cool, because they're getting money. So I understand the thought process on their side, but I don't get the thought process on the court side of why we're going to, like, my kids are now 19, my biological kids are 19 and 15. When my daughter hits 19 years old, I have to file to have child support stopped, right? Isn't that just gumming up the system even more? So I get to pay a whole bunch of money to a lawyer to try to stop child support now that she, say, isn't living with her mom, or she is, an adult now. Why is that something that's necessary? I don't know the answer for that. So those are two things that I will tell you that I find frustrating about the family court system, and I think it's, it's unhelpful. I think the system is built to have people just be in it on a constant basis, and what it does is it sets parents up to go to war over their kids because there's money attached to it. And again, I don't know the answer. I don't know what the answer is to fix that problem. Obviously, there has to be money in it for kids, and I'm certainly not a deadbeat dad. I pay child support, and I have never been late with child support. I don't do it. I believe in it. Child support is for your kids. Whether or not you're paying your ex is beside the point. You pay because that's the right thing to do. It's a moral thing to do, and my parents raised me better than that. You take care of your responsibilities. But I do wonder, is there maybe a better way to make people do this better? Is there a better way than having the parents go at each other, on a regular basis every time something happens? Maybe it is that when you file your taxes every year, they go in and your adjustments are made instantaneously. Say for example, next year I made $10 million. Well, my ex has to file and take me to court to make a change to the order. Well, does that make any sense? To me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. It should just be changed. She shouldn't have to file for that. So that's something, again, that would happen with my ex on her side. If I suddenly was a multimillionaire, how fair is it that she has to spend a bunch of money on legal fees to fight me to get me to do that if I'm going to be a person who fights it? And this is all really, let's be honest, it's all set up around the fact that if somebody wants to fight, if somebody wants to be difficult, if someone wants to use the system as a bludgeon, they can. And if somebody without scruples can make the other person's life horribly miserable, I can make my ex-wife's life horribly miserable. She can do the same to me. It doesn't seem right. Like, to me, I think there should be some stopgaps in there. There should be some things that make sure that doesn't happen, because we can't be good parents. No one can be a good parent if you're just fighting with your ex all the time, right? I'm not going to be a good parent if my ex and I are, at war constantly. That's going to come home and bleed over to my kids and, to my new wife, and it's going to come to my ex-wife. It's going to bleed over to her, what she's doing in her relationship and what's happening with the kids, and like, nobody wins that. So maybe there's a better way to do it. And honestly, I don't know what the better way to do it is. I wish I did, but I do see some holes and some problems in family court that I think could be much, much better if people who are probably smarter than me and know the system and understand how the system is built, maybe make some tweaks. I feel like maybe it's time to tweak the system a bit. Make sure you get rid of some of the things where people have to spend thousands of dollars just to make a change. Maybe that shouldn't happen anymore. Maybe there should be better ways to do things. And if I knew all the answers, I'd give you all the answers. I don't know. I do know there's some problems, and I am sure as hell sure That's a lot of sure's right there. I'm sure that is a fixable problem if people put their minds together, if lawyers, judges, etc. put their minds together and do it. Listen, some people waste a ton of money and a lot of time in family court fighting over dumb stuff. Maybe those things shouldn't happen. I mean, maybe there should be a rule that, if you're going to drag somebody back to court and you don't have a chance of winning, then maybe they should have to pay the other person's legal costs, and that would stop the things. I don't know. I don't know the answers. If you have answers that you think would work, write them up down below. I'd love to hear from you. But I do think the family court system, there needs to be some overhauls and some things fixed. Hope everybody's having an awesome day. Hope you're not going through that family court system like I am. Have a good day, guys. Take care.